Welcome back to another video. In this video we're going to be going over weight cutting and how in combat sports people weight cut, the dangers of weight cutting, and I want you guys to use this in terms of yourself, and if you're at a high weight, so you guys understand why you shouldn't be cutting weight super fast. I'll be going over what these guys are doing and how it might impact you if you're trying to go on a crash diet and lose a bunch of weight really fast. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the video. Alright guys, so here we are going over this video. This video will be going over a bunch of guys who've been weight cutting for combat sports, and we're going to be going over the dangers of weight cutting and how it affects your body. So let's go over it.
Many combat sports, and virtually every sport which has weight classes, and it is a largely debated topic in MMA. Most fighters will tell you cutting weight is the real fight. Fighting in the cage is the easy part. If you've been a fan of MMA for any appreciable length of time, you've seen your fair share of brutal weight cuts. Fighters who are elite athletes rendered barely able to walk to the stage, all life drained from their eyes, and bodies withered to half their size, just to have a slight advantage in the cage. And oftentimes, that advantage is non-existent. After all, if everyone cuts weight, then it's almost as if no one does. It's not uncommon for fighters to attempt to cut 20, 25, or even 30 pounds leading up to a fight.
Very dangerous.
Who fights at 185 pounds says he gets up to over 225 pounds between fights. We've seen countless fighters be hospitalized due to weight cut issues, failed kidneys, fainting, heart failure, gallbladder failure, decreased brain function, hormonal imbalances, and even death. It's a nasty part of the sport we love with no end in sight. But the best we can do is try and understand why these problems arise and how to mitigate them. In this video, we will discuss the science behind weight cutting and possible solutions to the extreme lengths these fighters go to. It goes without saying, the purpose of weight cutting is to lose enough weight to make the division weight limit.
Yep.
But how does it work? Most MMA fighters are already cut and have low body fat, so by the time they get to their fight camp,
so it's not just about diet.
Body fat to lose an appreciable amount of weight, so they resort to cutting water from the body.
Yeah, a lot of people do this who aren't just fighting. They think that they have too much blood, too much water in their bodies.
More classes down from their natural weight.
Bodybuilders do this too.
Of water doesn't happen easily. The body fights to reserve as much water as possible and to avoid severe hydration, while the fighters push themselves further towards it. To beat the body's mechanisms and shed the pounds requires both iron will and extreme pseudo-medical practices. The first and foremost method is cutting all carbs and electrolytes from the diet a couple weeks out from the fight. A single gram of carbohydrates in your body will hold up to 4 grams of water, and sodium will cause the body to retain more water to dilute the increased sodium concentration.
Very true.
This is combated by eating a low to no carb diet and drinking large amounts of water for a couple weeks to push the body to enter a so-called flushing mode, where you will have to urinate constantly and drain your body of all sodium and excess carbohydrates. Then,
very true.
Water intake will be cut to next to nothing while the body is still in flushing mode, causing rapid loss of body water content. Although this is effective, cutting carbs and electrolytes is very dangerous.
It is.
Combining low or no carbs with an already low-fat diet depletes the body of energy, especially for athletes who need lots of it.
We use carbs for glucose
20%
and glycogen. Not glucose, I mean glycogen.
In the form of carbohydrates, which are broken down into glucose, or to the glycogen stores.
Exactly, glucose and glycogen.
Both of these are reduced to extreme lows, which can cause reduced
glycogen is what we use whenever we're doing a lot of combat sport. These types of sports athletes, they use the glucose, the glycogen. So they use, that's pretty much their energy. That's what is produced when you consume lots of carbs.
This combination is why the most common symptom of harsh weight cuts are cramps, fatigue, headaches, and a general
very
lack
painful.
of energy. Although a strict diet and training routine and controlled
also strict diets, losing a lot of fat, affects brain function.
Done properly, this method
you're already low, when you're already lean, what happens when you lose water is
how much muscle mass they have.
It's really dangerous since your body's already typically depleted from fat.
79% water. Losing 10 to 15 pounds isn't
can affect
sufficient to
your
achieve the cuts pro and
a
elite
lot of
fighters
brain
want.
function.
So, they will supplement the cut with some
And your
extreme
body's
methods,
already
which
usually
is where
pretty
the danger
depleted because
really
these
picks
guys
up.
usually get lower
Once the
body
body
fat than their
loses a certain
body can
amount of
naturally
weight,
handle
it will
just
become
for
reluctant to
the
give up on any
whatever
more
fight they're
without
doing or
pain.
whatever sport they're doing.
And
Those
this is where the
bodybuilders
body
also
gets
do
stuck.
this.
The most common way utilized to force the body to shed more water is sweat. Whether it's through
Yep.
dressing up in a trash bag and hitting the treadmill, spending hours in the sauna, or taking hot Epsom salt baths, fighters find a way. The body can't overheat, so these methods will overrule the body's desire to not lose any more hydration. The purpose of the trash bag, sauna, and hot salt baths is to do two things: increase temperature and humidity. The higher the humidity, the more the body will sweat, and when you're submerged in water, that's 100% humidity. The reason this happens is because the way sweat cools you down is by releasing water through your pores, which absorbs heat and cools your body as the sweat evaporates. When it's
That's
humid,
what
the
really
sweat
gives
can't
us
evaporate as freely, so the heat is
our
trapped.
almost
The
unlimited
body releases more
endurance,
sweat to try harder to cool the body.
since we
This
are
hits its
like the
maximum
most
in hot baths because sweat can't evaporate
endurance
at all.
capable
The
animals
danger arises here because the
that walk
body is
on land.
already drained of much of its
And it's
water at
because
this
of that
point
sweating
and might
mechanism.
struggle to effectively cool the body. This can lead to skin damage and faster
People,
aging of the
yeah,
skin, impaired organ function, and lots of pain and
a
cramps.
lot of people
To
abuse
try
that.
and aid the sweating process, fighters often use creams or lotions that attempt to open the pores for easier perspiration. On top of trying to sweat, fighters will often use diuretics to help pee out more water after the body stops
Very
wanting to lose more
dangerous.
water through urine. This is where the most dangerous side effects of weight cutting really take hold. One of the most commonly seen issues with water cuts is reduced kidney function or
Kidney function
failure.
due to the
Daniel Cormier
increased
was
amount
hospitalized for
of
this very thing. The kidneys are
what's it
responsible for
called?
filtering and removing waste through the body through filtering blood.
It starts with an
When
A.
the body becomes dehydrated,
It's not
the
coming to
blood
me right now.
thickens and waste material and acid become concentrated. This buildup waste, including muscle proteins called myoglobin, can clog the kidneys,
It's an
impeding their ability
increase
to do their
in
job and cause
what's in
failure.
the urine.
If kidneys fail, it can cause
Anish.
a
No, it
toxic
starts with an
buildup of
A.
waste and acid in the body. Even if the kidneys don't completely shut down, they can still get damaged. Cutting as little as
It's
5% of your body mass within 24 hours can cause permanent damage to your kidneys and hormonal balances. Repeated weight cuts will take a cumulative toll on the kidneys, causing reduced kidney function that can worsen over time, possibly leading to kidney failure.
ammonia.
This
That's
causes
what I'm
many
looking for.
fighters to have to retire
If you had a
prematurely.
lot of ammonia in
As
your
bad as
kidneys,
that might
that's
sound,
what
it
damages it.
doesn't end there. Arguably, the most dangerous side effect of weight cutting is what it does to the brain. The brain is
Yep.
75 to 80% water, and
And your brain uses the most amount of energy.
can negatively impact its function,
Per
such
amount
as
of space in
acute
the
changes in
body,
memory
it's
and
like the
attention.
most energy
The
using
most
organ
dangerous part of a dehydrated brain
per
is that it's
cubic
more
inch.
prone to concussions and therefore more prone to knockouts.
It's also more
Being
prone to brain
dehydrated not
damage.
only reduces the water in the brain, but also decreases the amount of fluid surrounding the brain that helps cushion some of the impact when taking strikes to the head.
Very dangerous.
The same idea applies to the brain. This can cause fighters to suffer unnecessary brain trauma, which can lead to other problems like CTE. Although fighters do
CTE
rehydrate after weigh-ins,
is
they often don't rehydrate
permanent
to 100%
damage
by
to the
fighting.
brain caused by fighting. So,
Now that we've talked about why weight
loss
cutting is
of
so
memory,
dangerous,
loss of
why is it a
IQ,
thing,
intelligence,
and
brain
what do we do
function.
about it?
It's not
It's
good.
obvious that the reason fighters do it is for a competitive advantage, but
It's
that
usually
advantage is often so
after a
small
concussion.
or non-existent. But because everyone does it, you can't not do it. So how can we eliminate this unnecessarily dangerous aspect of the sport? Other organizations around the world have already started down this path. ONE FC recently implemented
A
hydration
lot of
tests for their
companies are
fighters,
doing it.
where they will check the hydration levels of fighters at a certain point out of the fight day and compare it to their hydration at weigh-ins. This can help limit fighters going to extreme lengths to cut dangerous levels of water. Another possible solution, which was implemented in late 2019 by the California State Athletic Commission,
Trying to
is that a
reduce
fighter
it.
cannot weigh more than 15% above what they weighed in at during weigh-ins on fight day, which is another reasonable solution to protect fighters. So, since we have a couple viable options, why don't we see these strategies implemented by the UFC? Well, there are a couple reasons: inconvenience and a lot of red tape. If these
Very
new
true.
rules are implemented, it would require many fighters to shift weight classes, which will
Exactly.
make a mess of the rankings and divisional hierarchies, and even champions may have to shift. The second issue is that the UFC doesn't get to make these rules, the athletic commissions do.
It's
This is
very
why
unhealthy.
California can have the 15% rule while other states don't. Getting a unified change would be difficult and likely take some time. One FC decided to implement their hydration testing after
After this guy
21-year-old
died.
fighter Yang Jianbing tragically passed away from cardiopulmonary failure from cutting weight for a fight in
It's
2015.
dangers of
It was a
extreme
sad
weight
moment
cutting.
in the sport's history, but what's even more sad is that that was not the first or last instance of fighters passing away from weight cut related problems. We just have to hope that it doesn't take a tragedy like that for these changes to be put into place in the States and around the world. Thanks for watching our video.
Well, I recommend you guys go watch this guy out. His name is, let me skip here to the end, MMA Access. This guy, a lot of fun stuff, like this video. But what I want to really go over now is how it affects you guys. If you guys are in a diet, crash diet, and you guys aren't doing any sorts of sports, in general, the thing that you really want to watch out for is getting depleted body fat stores. This body fat is similar to how depleting your water works, where you need it for proper brain function, and not just brain function, any bodily function in general. Your body needs to have certain levels of fat stores, and losing fat very quickly will do that. It'll also lose the amount of muscle. So some of these guys go from 200 pounds all the way down before fighting to 145, and they lose a bunch of muscle on top of a bunch of water, and it's very, very harmful to the body's systems, since you have to eat up all that muscle and it takes more time to grow back. And if you guys are trying to build muscle, you'll be doing more harm than good. And people who are already really fat want to lose weight really quickly, and there's people who hurt themselves like this. There's this one lady from China who was like 400 something pounds, lost like 150 pounds in 3 months, and she died, losing 150 pounds in 3 months, because she was losing weight too fast. She was losing a pound a day, over a pound a day. It's too quick. You should always aim for at most losing 0.5% of your body fat, or 0.5% of your total weight. Well, total weight 0.5%, about 1% of your body fat every 2 weeks, and that's how you lose weight. I always try to lose about 0.5% of my total weight every 2 weeks if I'm trying to cut weight, to make sure that I don't cut too fast and I don't lose any muscle. If you do it like that, then you'll be safe and you'll make sure that you're not hurting yourself. So just a few tips and pointers for you guys to keep in mind whenever you guys are doing any sort of diet. And yeah, that's pretty much it for today, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if there's anything else you guys want to see in the future. I'm doing more of these reactionary based videos, since I've seen that they've been getting a lot of views, a lot of likes. So I'm gonna try to do more of these. And let me know if you like these, or if you like more of my older types of videos that are less reaction based and looking over it, just me talking. Do more of just me talking type videos. I'm trying to see if I can get the channel to grow a little bit more, so that I can invest in more equipment to make other types of videos where I record on a camera or something. I'm trying to see if I can save up for one. I have a few video ideas that I want to try out, but just it for today, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye bye.